Twice per week, I'm getting a report like this in my Telegram and in my email that tells me exactly what I should build for my project, specifically based on the videos that I like to watch on YouTube from my favorite AI creators. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how to set this up. Look, what I usually do is I go to YouTube and I see all these videos and 50 Cent, and all of a sudden I have 21 questions, right? I like to look at his content. I love to look at his content. They're all great. They're all smart. But are the things that they are saying in their videos also relevant to my project and the things that I am actually doing? Because I don't want to watch 34 minutes of that, 30 minutes of that, 30 minutes of that, 6 minutes of that. That all adds up. Then I have to filter it out. Then I have to see like, okay, what can I actually use? Well, there is a way to completely automate all of that. And I'm about to show you how I actually do it. And like I said, get a report in my mailbox every week, twice per week, like this, which exactly tells me what these people are talking about, what the gaps are between what they say and what I actually have and what I actually can use or what I can improve. And then gives me a handoff for Claude or Codex to actually implement that. So this is how I set it up. Look, the thing is that I'm building this platform and I have paying customers and I want to build the best for them. I want to make sure that they stay with me and that they're very satisfied with what they get. But I have to move with time as well. Like the AI space is developing, the crypto space is developing. So I have to keep building. I have to stay on top of it. But I also do not really like burnouts. So what do I do? Let me show you exactly how I do it and how I maintain this platform like this. So I made a little slide deck, enjoy it, it's great. Look, it is true. I do not watch these videos anymore. They watch themselves. So like I said, twice per week, I'm getting this report, right? So how do I actually do that? The costs are like super low. And I do not need to, have my laptop on all the time in case you think like, oh, there's a catch. You have to no, I don't. So there are a couple channels that I like to look at. Then I will look at their videos. I will get their videos. Well, AI. Then it looks at the transcript from these videos. It looks at my knowledge base. It makes a judgment call, like, okay, how great are these things that these people on this channel on these channels are saying from 0 to 10. Then there's a memory. Never the same idea twice, right? So I'm always getting new ideas. And then there's a delivery into my Telegram and the PDF. So what happens first, it's going to look at these videos and it's going to look at like, okay, how true is it what these people are saying in the first place? How useful is it? Then it's going to take it out. Then it's going to look at my knowledge base. What do I have for project? And then it's going to rank it again. Like, okay, but how relevant is it to my project? And that's all that stays left is what I'm actually getting in the report twice a week. I often do that as well. I've built this right here where I can see my agents. They're working. Some are taking a break for some reason. They're fired right now. However, why should I? A PDF is so much better. Also to hand off to Claude, actually. So I did not do that. It's just one file and that's all I get. If I turn this into a database and you've built yourself the maintenance, and what you want to do is turn that into a full database, right? And that's maintaining itself. So let me walk you through this step by step to not make it super vague or anything. The first step that I'm taking is just looking at the YouTube videos that I actually like, right? Like this guy, he has some really good stuff. This guy has some really good stuff. But what you can also do is go to your YouTube channel history and ask Claude in the extension, link me the channels about AI that I've watched most over the last 30 days. It will take a minute or two, and it lists me a bunch of channels that I'm actually looking at. So I don't have to even think myself. That's what we want with AI. Replace your brain with a big other brain, right? So that's one. Then on cherry on top, you can also list all of this. So you just copy this, go to Perplexity or whatever, say like, hey, I like these guys. Do you have 4 more for me that I maybe don't know about? And then we'll give you 4 more, right? Perplexity is good at, finding that real-time data. Therefore, Perplexity, you can also do with ChatGPT. I prefer Perplexity for that. Then you have your base of channels that you can get the knowledge from. But again, then there's a problem, because these guys not always tell you the things that are only relevant to you or your project. There might be a lot of stuff that you do not care about. So then what you want to do is go to Claude or to Codex, doesn't matter. I use Claude for this one. And you just tell it what you want to do. Hey, I want to build a knowledge base with YouTube channels that I want to look at, and extract the transcripts, and then, find the gaps between me and my platform. So build a knowledge base for me at first. Here are the YouTube channels that I'm looking at. Save it for later. And it will save it. It has the YouTube channels locked in. Okay, cool. But then there is a problem. The problem is that if you want to really look at what they're saying versus what you have to define what you have. Because if you run this on a loop, you cannot ask Claude to go through your entire project folder twice a week. That will eat up your tokens. It will take forever. So what you want to do is have a good knowledge base about your actual project. More models right there. You can also do it with Claude, with Sonnet or Haiku, for example. But I used Gemini 3.1 Flash because, or 3.5 Flash, sorry. Because Gemini is very good at researching folders and collecting data and writing it down. It has a big context window, and I think it's just very good for that. But you can do the same with Sonnet. So what I asked is research my project folder, look at the PRD, look at the Claude MD, and most important, look at all the transcripts of the last 30 days of the conversations that I had with Claude to find out what I am actually building and what I actually have, and put it all into a knowledge base under 2,000 words if possible. And what I got is a knowledge base. For me, it's all in Dutch because I like to use my native language. It's easier to communicate. There is no language barrier or anything. It doesn't matter. But I have a knowledge base with what do I want? I want my work to go on while my laptop is off. What tools do I use? Everything is right here. So now Claude has something to compare with, right? It has the transcripts, it has the videos, but it also knows what to compare with, what my project is, what my actual work is, how it's relevant to me specifically and not generic information. And it's not a one click or anything. What you can do is go to this YouTube video, go to the description, click transcript, and just copy the transcript into Claude, right? And then just tell it like, hey, this is what I want to build as well. Here you go, right? You don't have to make it harder than it is. But do watch the video. It's good that you know it as well, of course. And it's good like that I have a view or two maybe on my new channel. Thank you. Look, every YouTube channel has an RSS feed. An RSS feed is something that you can just scrape or read or something like that, right? So it's free. There are no API costs to this. There's no catch to all of that. It's just a transcript as you can read it as well. Then ask Claude, remember which video we already extracted, right? So how I started is say like, hey, extract the 10 latest videos from all of these YouTubers. And then when you run the loop, actually look at all the videos that are new since the previous loop. Otherwise, I'm getting a bunch of videos with all the transcripts I already had. And that's a little useless. So it looks back for 4 days. I'm running it twice a week. I think that's fine. So anything older than 4 days is not relevant to me. Now, let me tell you what went wrong initially on my side. You may run up to that as well. It was also transcribing or fetching shorts, right? And I don't really prefer that. It's too out of context. So a lot of channels looked dead because it was only looking at that. Well, that wasn't really the case. So I asked Claude, like, hey, exclude shorts from all of this. I only want the full content videos. Now, there's a problem. If you are new to Claude and you give it a YouTube video and you say, hey, transcribe this and fetch it and give me an analysis of all of it. And it cannot do that on its own. Ask Claude for a YouTube transcript. It will initially fail. I tested it. YouTube redirects it to a CAPTCHA, right? Like where you have to click and then YouTube sees it as a bot because it kind of is. And even if that would work, the transcript isn't the page itself. YouTube loads the captions separately. So ask Claude, or it will give you that recommendation, by the way, though, to write a code for that. It will write a Python script and it will act like an actual YouTube visitor. So don't initially think like, oh, this will work. It's something you have to set up a little bit. But again, if you give it a transcript of this video or you talk to Claude about it, like, hey, how do we do this? You will do it. It's an hour of your time and it will save you at least 2 hours per day eventually. So it's super worth it, right? But don't think that AI can do anything. That's not true. It can do anything if you give it the right tools. Though. Like I said, any model can summarize a video, obviously, but no model knows whether that idea means something to me unless I tell it. Therefore, the knowledge base, we have to build that. But again, that's one prompt to Gemini or Sonnet and you'll have it. Then what I do, I want to attach a model to it, because again, if you don't have that, you can get the transcript, but then you have a raw transcript and we still don't know what it means. So I'm using Sonnet 5 to actually, give it a score, like, hey, what these YouTubers are saying, how relevant is it, how good is it, score it from 0 to 10, and I want everything above a 6 at least in my report, right? If you do not do that, you get a bunch of raw information that's super useless to you. So I have the transcript, I have my knowledge base, and then I have Sonnet that looks at the difference. And what I think is very good to do is tell Claude, ask me a lot of questions, what is important to me. Because even with all your transcripts and all the knowledge in your database, it still doesn't know what you will define as a 9 or as a 10 or a 6. So I had 46 questions that I got asked by Claude. And it takes a little bit of time, but then you at least know that it's personalized. So therefore, I did not turn this into a skill that I can just hand you off, but rather an instruction video, because you are not me and I am not you, of course. So there's no real, one size fits all to this. Then you want to make a routine off of it, right? So what I did with Claude is first I was talking and building and talking about my preferences. And this is what I do want to see. This is what I don't want to see. I see that you ranked this statement from that YouTuber as an 8, but for me, it's more like a 7. You want to fine tune it a little bit, right? It's not something that you can click and install and it works again. Otherwise, it will not be important to you. So this is something that you have to put a little time in. But again, that's such a time investment that you get so much for in return. It's super worth it. And then you want to store it to a database. And that's super important. And it sounds scary, database. What the fuck? I don't want a database. Like, if you want to run this with your PC off, you have to. And I'm using Supabase for that. It sounds scary, man, but go to supabase.com, create an account, tell Claude, hey, I created an account with Supabase. I mean, if you're running a serious project, you eventually want to have this anyway. And then your problem is solved, because initially Claude told me, like, well, this is going to be hard if your laptop is off. I cannot run it in the cloud because I have to look at your actual project folder for your knowledge base. And I was like, but what if we just create that knowledge base, update it or upload it to Supabase? You can read it there, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I can. Oh, okay, cool. And again, the PDFs, I just said like, okay, give me that in Telegram and in my email. So I don't need it to be uploaded in my project folder necessarily, because it's something that I want to review anyway. If I'm getting this in my project folder twice a week, that's a lot actually, right? So I'm just getting this now, like I said, in my email and in my Telegram, and that's it. Again, it's Dutch. It said, I watched 15 videos. There were 19 ideas that made a 6 or higher. 3 got an 8 or higher, right? So these are the ideas. And then there's a link to the video with the exact timestamp and the real report. I'm getting it in my email. You can choose to have just one of the two, of course. So Claude decided that I'm still in bed at Monday, 8 in the morning. I have kids. Claude has no idea what it's like to have kids. Sorry, Claude. It's run on my laptop. It runs in the cloud, like I said, next to the other 95 other jobs that my platform already does by itself. So I don't have to do anything again for this. I'm getting this every day. And then how do I use it though? I wake up, I open the report. It says, for example, build an evaluator. Oh, I think an elevator. Okay, cool. Evaluator step for the growth content chain. So I have a growth content chain and we want to apparently evaluate it. What was said, Claude cannot judge its own work honestly. You need a separate evaluator that, with access to the right tools, reviews the output before it goes live. And why does it matter to me specifically? The growth content chain, for me, posts tweets via Typefully with no quality check in between. So Menno, I'm Menno, already complains about the ugly, vague AI output. I find it really ugly. That's what I said. Therefore, it needs my transcripts. That's amazing. It knows my problems. So how to apply it? I don't even need to read that. It sounds like something that I want to have solved. So what I can do is when I wake up, I open Claude, I just drop in the PDF and I say, workout idea number 1, and it knows exactly what I'm talking about. Now, what it cost me, and this is not exaggerated, this is super accurate, right? There are 12 videos judged. It's less than 4 cents per video, which comes down to about $2 per month. $2 per month is worth saving me from like at least 10 hours per week seeing all these videos to find out if there's something that I can use from that. So it cost me 1 afternoon to set it up. I've spent a couple hours initially to set all of this up, to think about how to set it up. You don't have to do that. I'm giving you the full, how do we call it, setup right here, basically. So you don't even have to think about it too much. $2 per month, like I said, to run it. And my time now, 4 minutes per week, it says. Maybe it's a little bit more, but that's basically all that I'm putting into looking at these PDFs like, oh, is this a good idea? Yes, okay, here, I hand it off to Claude. Let's build it right now. Make an implementation plan and let's build it. So 3 things. 1, these are tools, not magic. Claude cannot pull the transcripts on its own. YouTube blocks it as a bot, and someone has to write that code. And in that case, it says here, that's me. Well, it's me together with Claude. I just asked Claude to build this. That's very simple. 2, the context is the difference. Without a knowledge base, then the automation is useful at best, right? But without a knowledge base, it will never know what I want. So create that knowledge base. And again, it's not so hard. Like I said, go to the knowledge base step, done in 10 minutes. Number 3, being strict is the feature, right? Under a 6, I never see, right? So if Claude says like, well, this is a nice feature, but it's a 4, it's not even really relevant to you, it's outdated. It's like, well, cool, then don't bother me with it, right? A list of 20 good ideas is noise as well. So I only want the best, and I'd rather have 0 than all way too polite, right? So sometimes I will wake up and Claude tells me like, hey, these people didn't really, mention anything that's relevant to you. But this is amazing, because if there is a new model that came out, if there is a new feature that came out, if there's a way to make Codex and Claude work together finally in peace and harm and in harmony and in love, I want to know. If there is a better way for me to handle business, I want to know. But I don't want to build anything just because I want to build it. I want to build what's relevant to me. And now that's all automatic. It doesn't replace my creativity at all, but it does save me hours per week watching videos to find information that other people are absorbing and maybe getting ahead of me or my platform. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.